Just a little bit.
10 seconds remaining.
There we go.
5 seconds remaining.
That said, we can look into our last pick before we get to these last two bands. So right now, it looks like it's not clear exactly how this is laning out. Gyro could be a mid with a Weaver as a safe lane support. Occasionally we've seen Weaver mid. Weaver could be the off lane, and we're still waiting for another third carry with Gyro mid. We could have an aggressive tri-lane with Gyro, Rubik, and Undying with Weaver's solo safe lane, and then a mid to come. And in fact, that's what I'm going to say we're most likely to see. But we will wait and see for what Captain G Parmesan is going to go in for. A reserve time for the Dire, as they're not quite sure what they want to go in for next. They'll pick up their carry, and it will be Luna. That leaves either a support or an offlaner, depending on how they want to run that Treant Protector, who could be in either role himself. Last bans here, and that makes it a little tricky for Radiant to ban against what they're doing. Could be either position. So they're going to have to pick just based on what hero they really don't want to see.
Reserve time.
I'm trying to think right now, what would be the best choice? I feel as though Radiant is looking a little squishy outside of the Undying. But you could say the same for the Dire outside of the Treant Protector. It'd take a lot of time here. We're in reserve time, a minute left in that for the Radiant. Right now, if we're looking at how the lanes are fleshing out for the Dire, Clockwork ban now. Luna, almost certainly the safe lane carry. Queen of Pain, the final ban before we get to these last two picks. Joined up with Keeper of the Light and Puck mid. Treant Protector is still a question mark where he goes. Pudge! Pudge the mid. As I said, expecting one, not expecting him necessarily. He'll be up against a Puck, and I feel that's a little tricky for Pudge. You can try and bait out the phase shift, canceling your hooks. So it's not impossible, but having that phase shift in your back pocket if you get caught flat-footed is a luxury that other heroes don't have. Now we're looked to round out the draft, and it's Slark selected. So this puts a little bit of a wrench in what we thought about the lanes. The Dire does not have a particularly potent combination for an aggressive tri-lane, but both Puck and Slark tend to want their own solo lane. Neither of them tend to be offlaners either. Both tend to be going mid, but if you did an aggressive tri-lane, either one of them could solo lane and handle that all right, if not very well. But do you really want to run a Luna Keeper of the Light Treant Protector aggressive tri-lane? I'm not so sure, but we'll have to wait and see how this ends up playing out. First up, we'll take a look at who's playing what.
Oh my god, it's almost time!
Starting with that last pick, Slark is the captain, Eric. Despite the rest of his team trying to be tricky, such as the Luna headed up towards top, played by Count Jigglesworth. You're not the captain in this game. but we'll look forward to it during the season. And he's joined up by yet another captain. 1695 on the Keeper of the Light, drawing out a path to head on down to that top rune position. Trying to catch up is Wabu on the Treant Protector. Headed toward mid is the Puck. And then into the off lane goes Eric on the Slark. So I've been wondering about the Slark in the off lane, and I'm excited to see it played out. Switching now over to what he's up against on the Radiant side. First up is the Undying, played by the captain of the Radiant side, Gene Parmesan. Drawing out a little squiggle on the map there. He'll be joined up by Webb on the Gyrocopter of Season 1's Team Deleted.
Please just bear in mind I'm trying
And
my
then
best here.
he'll be followed by Silk on the Rubik. Up top, we've got Shazamazaz on the Weaver. And then toward mid, we've got GG's on the Pudge, who has picked up an Invis rune. It's going to hang out in mid. Rot first, so there's not a whole lot he can do. I guess he's going to wait out and maybe get one free last hit. Up top, we've got Weaver poking around. He goes up, puts a ward right in sentry range. That's unfortunate. Come on, guys. You can be a little more imaginative than right dead center in the pull camp. You get the sentry ward put down here. You can actually put it very close. You can actually put a sentry ward right here, and it will not block the camp. And that will cover quite a good area. I'm not sure with the change if it covers back here, but it will cover around this area and into the pole camp. So very nice placement. And you know, Weaver in the off lane, not too unusual. He likes his farm, but he can do just fine and then catch up later. Germinate gives him a nice boost in damage regardless. Doubling up every 4 seconds, is it? 2.5. That's 4 at level 3. But I want to pay attention to this Slark in the off lane. We get a Observer Ward now planted. Do we have sentries? We do have sentries on Undying. Depending on the timing that they spot this out, though, it could actually be very effective as they did get off that initial stacked camp. And having done that, they may have thought the threat of that full block would be over.
Yo, green dudes, something bad is happening. In your bottom.
Right, I believe my open mic is off. Thank you for that. If you want to cast the draft analysis, that's on the stream. In game, we're good to go the rest of the way. If we keep an eye on the last hits, Luna leading the way. Up here on the Dire safe lane. Gyro having just a little bit behind early on. But should be close. No pressure coming out from either side, really. Slark, level 2. And Weaver doing very well for himself. Just about level 4 now. Once we get this last creep, he will be. There it is. Level 4 on the Weaver. Before 3 minutes. He's keeping up with the mids right now. We had a haste rune on Pudge, but it runs out. Shanana throws off a bit of a worried orb there. The pulls are coming out of Dire, but they really haven't done a huge amount. Again, he actually may be the highest experience per minute on the map. Where's that? No, he's third, just slightly behind the Puck right now. A little bit of harass coming out from the Weaver over at the pull camp. 1695 now in a lot of trouble and goes down there. First blood goes the way of the Weaver. A little slow to respond. A bit of a weird illuminate going out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And that's going to cost them. And this top lane is starting to worry me just a little bit. You want that offlaner to be shut down, be put behind and zoned out. Right now, none of that is happening, even giving up the first blood. Down toward bottom, we had the lift out of Rubik, but the living armor going to make sure nothing really happens to that Slark. Eats a missile to the face, but that doesn't really do anything. Hardly traveled at all. Level 1 on the missile. Missile before flat cannon. Expect a flat cannon point next, and then continue maxing out rocket barrage, but a lot of flexibility there in terms of those skill builds on the gyro. And up top, Weaver on top of the experience per minute board. Even ahead of both mids in terms of CS now as well. Satsamura getting a little out of hand. Jigglesworth trading a bit there with the Weaver. Gets the better of that exchange. Still no courier upgrade on the Dire. Gotta get that pick. Come on, guys. You gotta pamper your courier. There we go. See? They're listening. They understand. Still working on boots for the Pudge. He's got his bottle up, but still a bit immobile. And this is looking like a very passive early game here. Undying and Pudge, very aggressive heroes, but nothing coming out of them as of yet. We do have 6 on Pudge now, though, so Dismember is up. Still needs another level to max out Hook, but looking good. Oh, the Invis Puck is gonna Invis take that regen rune. Oh, that's a pain.
Missing top.
We had Undying camping the rune. Now Puck gonna rotate. It's 2v3 here, though. Dream Coil is available, but I do wonder if anything's gonna be able to happen. And now Slark rotating. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but heads on back. There's a waning rift out of Puck. Uses the Dream Coil, but now Gyro gonna try and turn it around. Rubik very low. The Tombstone gets dropped. Rubik goes down to the zombies. The Hook gonna finish off Puck, and that ends up being a 2-for-1 trade. Radiant getting the better of that. I wasn't sure going in. They were up against the wall trying to do that. 2v3, especially up against a gyrocopter. But there is the potential between Waning Rift and the available Dream Coil. Not quite able to pull it out. A good turnaround out of Radiant. And they end up getting a little boost there. And things continue to look good on their side. Weaver still third on the board, and again ahead of both mids in terms of that CS. Down here in the river, Pudge gonna walk right up to Keeper of the Light. Wrong place, wrong time there, buddy. And down he goes. The Hook able to just about able to one-shot him. Right now it's doing 360 damage. And that's pure damage, so the health 473 on the Keeper of the Light. Now Puck, oh, just barely avoids that. Doesn't even use the phase shift. Cutting it close. But gets away. Again, it's Puck and Slark against the world down here in the bottom lane. While this is going on, Keeper going to pick up just a little bit of experience over here toward mid. And perhaps a push coming out here on the bottom lane.
Guys, you need Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But I guess they're not committing here, as Undying is getting in position to pull. And this will pull back the wave, as this is a stacked camp. Double Alpha Wolf, in fact. That'll chew right through this creep wave.
Tower is under attack.
Keep you up top from Gyro. This is interesting. They're going to try and show Puck how it's done in the 2v3 world. The rocket coming out. Luna in a lot of trouble. Call down comes down. Living armor not going to be enough. She gets off the Eclipse, but almost immediately killed off. The turnaround now. Puck joins the fray. And that's a 2-for-1. They do get Luna, which if they're going to kill anyone, that's the one to get. But still not worth it. Rotating up Gyro. They lose him and Weaver in that.
Dire's middle tower is
And the 2v3 shenanigans not going to work out for Radiant either. 5-3 now.
bad dudes. Middle tower. Everyone, go.
Level 6 on the Rubik. He steals Leap from Slark. We're going to have a quick little pause here. Gonna check out on the Pudge, just bottled up. A double damage rune has his urn done along with Brown Boots. Luna. He's gone Brown Boots, Helm of the Dominator. Don't typically see that. Seeing Tread's helm, pretty common, but to have the full helm on Brown Boots, I'm not sure I've seen that. Actually has the Ring of Protection, so gonna have to wait and see if she ends up finishing Tranquil Boots. Normally it's either the Tranquils for more of a mid-game centric Joe style build of Tranquil, Drum, Yasha kind of build. Whereas if you're going Helm, it's often Tread's Helm, since you have that life steal for sustain, as opposed to needing the Tranquil Boots. But she has the Ring of Protection on her.
Green dude's top thing is about to get knocked
So
out.
we'll wait and see which direction that goes. A little warding coming out here from Parmesan. And Luna rotated into jungling some camps here before heading back to lane. This leaves Weaver to his own devices. Pudge rotates up. Oh, the hook misses. Anticipates the continued movement, but the cast of Living Armor tries to help out. Restores his mana. Leech Seed used, but Tree looks like he's going to go down. One more shot. But no! Are they going to be able to turn this around and save him? They already got Pudge. Weaver's still chasing. Treant goes invis, and he actually manages to get away. And once again, another turnaround. These two-man gank squads in the lanes, but here we go. Undying still left over. Tries to decay up. Not going to be enough. Lucent Beam going to fish him off. Now a Tombstone going to be given over. That's 90 gold. Nice little boost scores tied up at 5-5. 12 minutes in, early to check, but that sends it back a bit the way of the Dire. He's getting a little towards Radiant, as we saw Weaver getting a great start in the off lane. But now, he has died, forced out there. The hook catches 1695. He's pulled back. Dismember used just to make absolutely sure of that kill. That's a nice pickoff. You've got 4 up here. They may choose to try and push on the back of this with Keeper of Light down for just a little bit. But short cooldowns here in the early game. Another hook thrown out. Gonna miss. Blind hook. Doesn't find anyone.
Yo, green dudes, something bad is happening. In your bottom.
A lot of movement on the map now. Not a lot of it is worked out. See another hook thrown out. A missile will come towards Puck. He'll be able to phase shift that. There we go. Gotta be careful though. If hook's available, you phase shift. Hook could be waiting if he hasn't thrown it already.
Yo, green dudes, something bad is happening. In your bottom.
4 now toward mid, and perhaps this will be where a push comes out. Pudge still looking for another opportunity. Doesn't have enough for Dismember and Hook right now. Claritying up, so hoping to have that soon. The missile's coming out, so Pudge go look to follow that up with the Hook, but the creeps are in the way. Throws out a Hook and manages to miss. Puck actually ends up getting a kill there on Undying. And it doesn't work out, that little plan. Puck picks up an illusion rune here. Beats Pudge to the punch. He's empty on the bottle, working on phase boots. Still waiting on the first big item on these carries. Luna's got Tranquil. She did go to finish those, and Helm of the Dominator. Gyro working with Treads, Ocula, Wand. And then Weaver just got Treads and his Ring of Health with a couple slippers on him. So still waiting on what looks to be a Lincoln's, if that Ring of Health does get built into something. Gyro, most likely next item, BKB. It could be a Yasha as well, into Manta. Depends on his preferences there. Puck's still a ways off a Blink, though. That will be a big item once he's able to get it up. Phase Boost's the choice. A little unusual on Puck. Typically going the Treads. He has that built-in mobility. But often the Treads phase comes a lot down to preference. For a long time, you saw Phase Boots as the boot of choice on Templar Assassin. Lately, we've seen a lot more Tread pickups. Lifestealer went the opposite direction. Treads now a lot more phase. Changes over the times.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Bracer going to be coming up on Slark. Looks like he may be working on a drum. Whereas an interesting Sage's Mask, looks like casual Sage's Mask on the Treant Protector in his stash.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And we've gone back to a bit of a passive scenario here. Dark Pact stolen by Rubik. Slark leaps away and manages to avoid the hook, and he's out of trouble. Up top, we've again got the 1v1 scenario of Luna up against Weaver. Both at level 11 right now. Puck had rotated up, but going to turn around. Weaver's backed off to his tower. State of the game right now, net worth, Gyro and Weaver leading the way. And really, the Dire relying a lot on this Luna, and she's behind both carries on the side of Radiant, so that could end up being very tough as this game goes on, if that trend continues.
Bad dude's top tower gonna fall over soon.
Weaver looking to snipe off a couple creeps there. Right now, we still have all tier 1s on the map still. Up top, the Living Armor helps Luna get a bit more aggressive on Weaver, force him back. Still no way to finish him off, but does some harass. Yes, some harass. Up top, pushes him back a bit, heads back into the jungle. TP up from him dying to help out there. Rubik could TP up as well, so we've got 3 rotated up toward top. They're abandoning that bottom lane for now. could end up looking at tier 1 trades top and bottom.
Bad dudes, middle tower.
And it's gonna go ahead and TP away. Interesting TP location there. If you just double tap on your TP scroll, it will send you home.
Something bad. Dire's middle tower
So,
has fallen.
if you're headed home, it's probably good to get in the habit of doing that.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Though you can go too far, like I do, and get in the habit so much that you end up TPing home when you want to TP to another tower quickly. That's not so fun. Puck looking for someone, anyone. The Hook can't find it. And with Luna moving out, we were able to finish off that tower with the help of his buddies up there. At the same time, as mentioned, the trade goes down bottom. But still got to keep an eye here mid, as Pudge is just hanging out. Now TP's toward mid from these supports. Urn being carried by Rubik. Perhaps a bit of miscommunication there. With 2 urns, you're only getting charges on one of them when you're in a fight within range. Could do worse though. The strength gain on Rubik as well as the mana regen, both nice. You got some dewarding coming out here. We've got 3 now, going to be 4 coming around. They're going to clear out this stack. Jigglesworth and company, and this will be very nice. And will be a big help given the current state of the net worth. On the other side, no such stack existing on Radiant right now. At the same time, there is a push coming out towards bottom. Everybody nearby, they should be able to rotate. The living armor goes off. The Hook, gonna miss there. Illusory Orb goes through, goes in. Waning Rift only hits on Rubik, but the Dream Coil will cast both Rubik and Undying. They're able to get Undying. Doesn't look like they'll be able to catch up to anyone else. Double damage popped on Pudge, but the Hook not able to hit. Overgrowth used, and it looks like stolen and used against them by Rubik, but Rubik gonna go down immediately after that, and that ends up being a 3-for-0 trade for Dire.
Tower gonna fall over soon.
And Dire looking to take a small lead here now in the game. Perhaps the first real lead we could say going the way of them, but they're actually still trying to catch up in gold, still a little behind. And we can attribute that, as we were saying, on the net worth. The top 2 farmers right now are the 2 carries on the side of the Radiant.
Missing middle.
GG's started strong with his hooks, but we're seeing not having the best of luck lately. Gonna try and see if he can change his fortune with this Invis rune. Just gonna walk right on up to Slark. Dismember. Invis goes off though and gets caught out the rotation as well. Not even sure if it was needed. Rubik tries to help out, but too little too late. The leap forward just misses, not able to catch up and go turn around now. Leap stolen by Rubik, nice to have. Dismember and Hook not being enough on their own, and without it, that means Slark has free reign once he pops his ultimate. A Void Stone headed out to Puck. Looks like he'll probably be building a Eul Scepter now that he has his Blink Dagger. I'm getting a little lost by this, by Wabu's build right now. He's got a Bracer, he's got a Headdress, and going to have a Basilius Ring on him. A lot of cheaper components.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Without continuing into, say, into a full mech with a buckler after the headdress. Or drums following the bracer, though. We'll wait and see if that ends up being the case. Up towards top, though. Sentry goes down. Now here comes the tombstone. Slark gets spotted out, but he's going to be able to get away regardless. Living armor used on Treant to get away. Rubik caught Dream Coil. Also traps Undying. Going to try and turn this around on Slark, though, fighting in the zombies. Tons of damage coming out from Undying. Gets hooked back as well, and that ends up being 3 for 1. The zombies doing work. And Parmesan leading the way. A couple bad fights here and there across the map. We're starting to give Dire the edge here. Going to turn that around now. And going to push out this top lane. I don't think they'll be able to get this top tier 2 tower. Don't really have the pushing power to do that in the time they have available to them. But they'll be able to do just a bit of damage. Jasmazar getting a very aggressive position. But there really isn't lockdown here unless Slark can get a leap. And tether him. And as we see, just Shikuchi's away. Lincoln's is done on Weaver. Pings go out, but there's not really anything they can do. And drums are also finished on Slark. Keeper of the Light will be working on the mechanism. He's got himself a buckler right now. So still a bit off of that. Rubik now going to be going into mechanism after that urn. Again, given the urn was going to Pudge first, probably would have ended up probably would have been a better choice if he went straight into mechanism, but that could be chalked up to a bit of miscommunication. Easy to do if you're used to doing a particular build, and then suddenly somebody else builds that item you always build. Happens to me in pubs. I'll be like, well, nobody in pubs ever builds a mechanism. And then you happen to end up in a game where you get one of those few heroes like Lich, where it's on the recommended items and they happen to build it. Alas. What, you wanted more mechanisms in your pubs? Well, now you have 2. Pudge using up a fair bit of health there to clear out that wave. Working on a hood once he has that up will be much easier on him, both through the damage he takes from Rod as well as the regenning up after he uses it. 4 pushing in the top, while Luna is left bottom. Looks like they'll be able to get this tier 1. Last hit actually goes to Keeper of the Light. And in this case, that is actually quite nice. That'll boost him towards mech. In fact, he already had his mech just finished. They must have had that coming out when I just checked. I don't think he just picked up 1,500 gold out of nowhere. Now the TP reaction. Actually, we actually had Tombstone and Call Down used. Luna had easily backed off, and they'll get a Tombstone there. Puck gonna chase. And looks like they'll be able to get the Undying. The Dark Pact able to finish him off. And now this could transition into a push toward that tier 2 bottom. Tree backing off though, so doesn't look like a full committal. Just going to rotate through the jungle and see what they find. Pudge skulking about. Gyro running into trouble. He has a Shadow Blade up on him though. He's going to get on out of there. Working on a BKB next, just about there. 400 gold off of that. Rubik actually built a medallion. My mistake. He's not building a mechanism. There's actually no mech coming out of the Radiant side. I can't say I've ever seen a medallion on Rubik. Call down from Gyro. Gonna hit. It goes in Viz and there's no way to follow it up. Medallion's always nice on a Weaver when there's a Weaver around. So carrying it so he doesn't have to build it ends up being a nice synergy, even if Rubik's a bit of a weird carrier.
Nasty and brokey.
The hook on Tree. He's in trouble, but he is near trees. Goes invis, gonna try and run away, but Decay finishes him off. Got too low before he's able to get that off. Meanwhile, Weaver pushes up top. Slark gonna hold that off for now. And Weaver gets on out of there. Already had picked up the Demon Edge. We'll have to wait and see if he goes in for crit or MKB. Crit and the mini bash only apply to that first shot. Do not count on the germinate. That overrides the unique attack modifier on that second shot. That's why we've seen a bit of a rise in Desolator on Weaver in pro play. The minus armor applies not only to the first hit, but since it is over a duration and is not and doesn't need to be a unique attack modifier after that first hit, it does end up helping out that Germinate attack. But in toward mid, we have a Dismember on Slark, and once again, Pudge making the same mistake, walking up, dismembering Slark, and then not having the vision and gets chased down. Undying looks like he'll pay for it as well. That's another kill towards Slark. Rubik gonna steal living armor. That's nice. Not able to get the tombstone there, just going to back off instead. And Chib unleashes the gifts in this game. Yes, indeed. Too bad. It doesn't look like absolutely everybody gets something. BKB finished up on the Slark. That's his next item after those drums. And TP down toward bottom. As both sides retreat to their own side of the river. But Slark may be up too far. Shadow Blade in. Rocket Barrage not going to hit very much. And lose vision. Now Gyro going to walk into the same kind of mistake. Tries to turn this around with Call Down. Doing a lot of damage. Slark able to finish him off. But it is a trade 1-for-1. But gotta like that trade on the side of Dire. They take out that Gyrocopter, the top farmer on the field. All the while, Luna farming up herself, catching up right behind him in last hits, and with that death actually on top of the net worth board, dead even with the Weaver. Her progressions, she has a Yasha on her. Shinana likely going in for a Manta next. The hook on Tree, but then Pudge just walks away. The tombstone goes down as well. They focus that down. 130 gold goes the way of 1695 on the Keeper of the Light. Mana leak on Undying. He'll stand there and take some glaive damage. Puck blinks in, bursts him down. The Dismember on Luna gets bumped back by the blinding light. Luna goes BKB. And down goes Rubik as well. That's a triple kill toward Luna. And they get the tier 2 to boot. Now moving on to tier 3. Gotta look out for the call down. Puck in a lot of trouble that next hit. Puck able to get on out of there. Very close MKB done on Weaver. This push not over yet. 3 still down, but looks like they may end up backing off here. Weaver trying to pursue. Luna in a lot of trouble. Gets quite low, 350 health. And that is low when a Weaver is hitting for over 200 damage and can proc Germinate attack. You know, that's about one auto attack. It would be very close. Now Roche could be the next target. They may now be lamenting that they didn't choose to do this immediately and instead tried to push into that tier 3. Luna not with them. Gonna have to hoof it on over. Slark gonna do admirably here though. Accidentally leaps over Roshan, not able to leash him. And in comes Luna. Recalled actually into the fight. It looks like. And looks like they'll be able to get Roshan. There's been no reaction out of Radiant. They don't know this is going on. There wasn't any vision over here. And there we go. That's an Aegis going the way of Luna. She has a finished Manta style. At 8 seconds on her next charge on the BKB. Stacking time. There we go. On both sides, in fact. So Dire been looking quite good in these last few fights. But the potential is absolutely still there for Radiant to take a team fight. Down a fair bit in experience, but they're still keeping up. Starting to dip a bit in the gold, but still not too far off considering how far we are into this game. Gyro and Weaver hitting very hard. Waiting on the next item out of Gyrocopter. Pudge gets leashed again. Oh, Slark is just his worst enemy in this game. Eric chasing him down. Now gonna go. Leashes on the Gyrocopter. He doesn't have BKB off a cooldown for another 5 seconds. The fight going all over. We have an overgrowth time-lapse back from the Weaver to get out of that. And in all, the chaos 3-for-0, the fight. And once again, the team fight goes the way of the Dire. Now going to push out this bottom tier 2. This will certainly be forfeit here. The Fortify goes out. I wonder about that decision, opting to use it there to delay out. No way to defend it. Could perhaps have been more useful on the tier 3. Here comes the push into that. The buyback out of the Gyrocopter. Hook lands on Pudge, but he gets leashed immediately. Now Luna doing damage. She still has Aegis. Nothing to be afraid of. Time-lapse used. Manta on cooldown. There's the Aegis popped. Weaver going to back off. Slark gets hooked. A bit of revenge there from GG's. Now going on Puck. Can Puck get out of there? The Rot's there. That will cancel any blink attempt. And down goes Puck, and that goes 2 for 1. Gyro dies after a buyback, though. That's gotta hurt. And Luna's still up. They even get the tier 3. Gotta look out for the hook here. GG's actually out of mana, though, so not able to. Tries to bottle up. Not enough mana. And the rest of the Dire team will escape. 2 for 1 trade in heroes and the Aegis, but they get the tier 3. No racks, though. So it's a nice bit of gold towards the Dire, but could have been worse for Radiant. They push it back. Don't lose racks. And far from out of it, but what really hurt was that on the Gyrocopter. Buyback and dies again. He was at 2,400 gold before that. Now down under 1,000. Set way back on that next item, and now it really shows the impact here. We see Luna way out ahead, and that's what Dire really needed, was that big advantage on Luna. Weaver is keeping up, but Gyro is not nearly as big of an impact player as he was when he was top farmer. The leash goes on Weaver, but Weaver doesn't care. The turnaround support coming in, even Tombstone throwing down. Ends up going to waste there. They're not really going to want to fight without that Tombstone. Well, this will be a bit more of a poke. Gyro picks up a DD though. Flat cannon with double damage. But Dire wants to bring the fight to them. Down towards bottom. Slark chasing out the supports here. Weaver turns around. The BKB is popped on Slark. He's still trying to bring down Weaver. Surprisingly tanky with the urn and medallion. 1695 brought down. Eric trying to get away. Gets brought down with one last auto attack. But here comes Luna with the Eclipse and a lot of right click damage. They're able to get Weaver as well. That's a full team wipe. 5 for 3. But the top two here is Luna and... well, I guess Slark is doing perhaps next. Nope. Top two farmers on the Radiant side. Luna and Puck surviving there. Luna has actually upgraded to Boots of Travel as well. Picked up a Crystallis. Not often we see crit on Luna. Next big item is often either Butterfly, or if up against an agility carry that you expect to be going Butterfly before you, then an MKB. Pudge trying to get aggressive here. A bad decision. Just walks into pain. Flesh Heap not going to help him there. Too much damage coming out. Lucent Beam hits on the Rubik. But Pudge, your sacrifice will not be in vain. Buys enough time for that Rax. Brought down quickly, but it was enough.
Is about to get knocked over. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Despite all of that, Rax still up here on the bottom lane. Got a basher on Slark, sitting on another 1,200 gold. Luna, there's the Daedalus recipe. Very, very close to Daedalus. The 170 gold away from the Demon Edge. Oh, no, in fact, already has the Demon Edge. So that's just 2,200 extra gold on top. Now going to be clearing out this ancient camp stacked up quite nicely again with that Helm of the Dominator. And out comes the Daedalus. Down towards bottom, we have an engagement. The hook goes out on Slark. Dismember going to go on him. But Living Armor helping out. There goes the BKB pop. Puck got a phase shift to get away. We had an Overgrowth used out of Tria Protector. Now going to try and get away. Cannot. This fight not going nearly as well as Luna is not up. They're taking a fight without her. And now they're just going to have to back off. I mean, Puck's doing well. Oh no, Caught gets turned around, phase shifts, but is there anything he can do? Gonna blink up. Shikuchi gonna try and catch up. Actually, Yule Scepters himself. Tries to Dream Coil, but blocked by the Lincolns. Time lapses back, and now Luna casts Eclipse. Weaver, one more shot. Can she get off the Lucent Beam or one more right click? No, Weaver gonna Shikuchi away. The call down gonna dissuade Luna. And the TP back home. So close. There, 3,300 gold sitting on Gyrocopter and just gets a tower up to 3,800. Again, not over. Rack's bottom still up. Experience hit 20,000. But now it's back to 15. Gold closed to 15, goes back towards 12. A long way to go. Now the question becomes 4,000 gold. What's your next item? Are we going to go the safe route and pick up an eagle song into a butterfly? Or are we going to see a relic? Daedalus coming up next on the Weaver. As mentioned, already done on the Luna. She's sitting on 3,800 more gold now after this. Likely the next item I'd say would be a Satanic. Upgrade that helm and Dominator, add in survivability. With the glaives and damage she's already doing, that's basically a cheese every time it's off a cooldown. BKB charge, though, down to 5 seconds. Gonna go in for Roshan. This time the vision, I believe, was there, but this, depending on how closely they hug that rail, it may be out, but the ping goes out. You know what's going on. Gyro gonna try and catch up to the action, but they're not gonna be there in time. It's down. Aegis goes to the Luna. She handed off the gem to who has the gem? Puck does. Now the drawing goes out. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe go to the enemy jungle, but nobody responding. And we've got Nex drawn out in mid. Trying to interpret these mini-map drawings is like trying to read palms. Keep her hanging out in the shop. Split pushing bottom right now. At the same time, Weaver's up top. Does have a TP back. The hook hits on Pudge. Phase shifts back, not willing to commit, and he'll be fine. Man to use, but the fortification comes out as well as the tombstone. Eclipse goes off at a bit of an odd time. Doesn't hit a whole lot. Creep wave comes in, and that ends up going a bit to waste. Call down hits everyone. The Aegis popped almost immediately. Now Slark in some trouble, tries to chase down Pudge, but drawing the gyrocopter away as well. And with that, 3 for 0. Not even getting Pudge. Luna having to back off, sitting at 5,200 gold. Saving grace is that she survived, but they gave up some kills there unnecessarily. Keep her alight, not part of the push. The split pushing bottom, they were looking to try and draw it out, but ended up forcing a fight, diving in, as opposed to delaying long enough to get that creep wave in and start doing damage to the rack's bottom. As looks like what the idea was, the execution didn't end up working out. And that's 3 on the sidelines. And this will be a tier 2 tower going the way of the Radiant. That'll help out that gold disadvantage even more. It's coming back, looking at closing on back to 10,000. Experience sitting around 15. Well, no support, and Luna there in time, so actually not going to be a tier 2. And this Gyro backed right on off. And he does now have a butterfly. That is the option he went for. Missed a stack there, unfortunately. Both sides, in fact. So it's a wash. Haste Rune going to be picked up on Pudge. Undying picked up the gem off of the Puck from that last battle. That'll be nice. As to be able to keep that vision on Slark and really lower his effectiveness. Luna, yes indeed, built that Satanic as the next big item, sitting on 2100 gold. That should be enough for buyback, I would guess, and we should keep an eye on the buyback tab at this point. Luna, Weaver, both sitting with buyback, and then we have Undying and Pudge. So on the Dire side, it's only Luna with buyback right now. And in fact, that tower gives Gyro enough to buy back as well. 2,500 gold on him. Luna, 1,700 gold and 1,880 in reliable, so definitely has enough there. And so far, holding off. And that's what Radiant needs to do. They can handle this late as if they get enough time. Between Gyro and Weaver, they do a ton of damage. But Luna's getting very scary. If she weren't already. And now 3,200 gold on her. Her next item almost... her next item should be an MKB. And then she'll be fully 6-slotted. Courier, just going to ship out a couple TP scrolls. Nothing exciting there. Gyro building into crit now. Just along the same lines as the Germinate attack. Unique attack modifiers do not apply to the secondary flat cannon targets, only the primary one. With that initial right click. Luna almost up to 4,000 gold. And the push is going to come on bottom. They want these racks. They need these racks. And what they need is a proper initiation. We've seen hooks catching out heroes. We've seen Slark diving in, and then the rest of the team not being able to follow up. We've seen team fights as 4 instead of 5 without Luna. And the team fights started shifting back towards the way of Radiant, as we saw shift earlier on in the game towards Dire, which has helped them grab this lead. But they end up not forcing the issue here bottom. Looks like they're going to just wait out perhaps the next Roshan. Still a few minutes off of that. You know you have map control when your Keeper of the Light is alone in the enemy jungle channeling Illuminate with a Shadow Blade gyrocopter on the field and has no concern whatsoever. Up top, Slark was chasing on the Weaver, maybe overstepping his bounds a little bit there, but going to leap away and be fine. Luna's still way out in top in net worth. Buy back on her and Weaver. The hook on the illusion. Not work out up top. Weaver gets silenced. Followed up Sheep, but doesn't look like they're going to have the damage as he can Shikuchi away. The damage is very much coming from Luna and not anyone else. Slark can build up some damage during a fight, though. And he has picked up an Eagle Song now. So if he survives during a fight, he's eating up stats from the heroes he hits, even if he doesn't kill them, with Essence Shift, and can become stronger as the fight goes on. Luna sitting at 6,000 gold. Still waiting to see that next item again. Should be a Monkey King bar, given that Gyrocopter's already picked up Butterfly. Desolator may now finally be coming on Weaver to round out his item choice. Could also be a BKB. But trying to chase down the tree, and goes Invis next to this tree, but no good. The gem there on the Undying. Gonna try and chase down Slark now. Could be another kill. Tries to juke through the trees, but not enough. He goes down. At the same time, behind the action, Luna doing work. However, gets picked up and bursted down almost instantly. Cannot use the Satanic. The Dream Coil goes out. Undying, the only one to go down there. Slark, Treant, but most importantly, Luna. And that will, at the very least, force out a buyback from Luna. Roshan coming up. And looks like they're not going to force tier 3. As Gyro has gone back home. It feels as though they could have pressured this tier 3, forced the buyback out of Luna, then rotated towards Roche. As it is, though, Gyro's not there. The Shadow Blade up. Very low mana, though. Now Roche is up. Is Luna willing to buy back to contest Roche, or are they just going to give this up? While this goes on, no movement yet. Experience under 10,000 now. Gold lead only about 6,000 now. Down it goes. The cheese is there. Nobody's picking it up. Just picks it up and uses the cheese. You can sell the cheese for, I believe it's 500 gold. Now the instructions come out from Gene. Parmesan, we're pushing bottom. Everybody join up. The Aegis is on Gyrocopter. However, not buying back. Still has 6,200 gold on the Luna. If she's saving for buyback, she could potentially just buy up the Demon Edge and still have plenty left. Gonna have to move back. Pings go out. There are only 3 here. And we're gonna have a trap. Rubik avoids the leash, but gets bursted down anyway. Free tombstone, but Luna's not content with that. She wants heroes. Jigglesworth chasing down, moving at a brisk 473 movement speed with the Boots of Travel and Manta. One more right click, down goes Undying. Weaver backing off. And that's 2 free kills, and it goes the other way. The TP back as the split push towards mid with Gyrocopter and Pudge. They do some damage to the tier 3, but that's all. And that's 7,500 gold on Luna right now. They're going to try and chase down Pudge. There he is. They're going to get him now. Too much damage. Right click. Finishes him off from Luna. 8,100 gold. You can buy something now. $3,000 on the Gyro. And now the push comes out mid. Buyback out of Undying. I didn't see exactly how much time was left on him. I thought he was respawning. As they close in on the tier 3, can't afford to let that go. They're going to rotate toward bottom, though, it looked like for a second. Perhaps not. Talisman of Evasion on board here for Eric. So that's working towards that butterfly.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Doesn't get off the courier, though. That could potentially hurt. Not having that evasion. There is no MKB on Gyro. There is on the Weaver. TP back from Luna to protect this top tier 3 tower. And there's just more gold for her. Jiggle's worth 9,500 gold. Alright, come on. MKB. Now I say MKB, Monkey King Bar, because sure, survivability is tied up in that satanic. I mean, she could potentially just buy up a new BKB or heart, but more damage is probably what she wants. No, going the butterfly. Now that does help your attack speed and damage. The problem though is that Weaver already has an MKB, which means that will make the evasion useless when it comes to the right clicks from Weaver. And Gyrocopter already has a butterfly, so without the MKB, the evasion is going to hurt the damage coming out of Luna. That's why the downsides are there out of the butterfly, but still very strong. Plenty of damage and attack speed coming out. Gonna force down this tier 3. They're playing this safe. Now the fight is forced. Slark goes down almost immediately. Here comes the Eclipse. Perhaps a little early, but managing to land. Good hits. Gyrocopter goes down, but that just pops the Aegis. Stolen Overgrowth, it looked like hulled everybody in place. Luna gonna have to back off. Tries to turn around and go on Punch, but now she gets dismembered. A lot of trouble. Gyrocopter gonna try and turn this around, but not doing enough damage. Evasion is helping out against Gyro's flat cannon. Punch still there. Gets the hook on Luna. This could be the game right now. No, she's gonna get away. Ends up getting away at 300 HP. If she went down, that could have been huge. At least forcing out a buyback. She did have enough for buyback. But with Weaver having enough for buyback and upgrade to Boots of Travel, if he went down, could have had a man fight, time lapse, continue fighting, die, buyback, TP back in, and continue the fight. At this point, though, nothing else for Luna to buy. Only needs gold for buyback, and that's it. So this is where you want to see full inventories finishing up out of Puck. Looks like Puck going to build into a Scotty next. Unless that's a Manta style coming up. Puck, though, does not have enough for buyback. I feel as though that is perhaps more risky than you need to be. And as we keep an eye on the buyback, is Gyro, Weaver, and Luna. They have been the stories of this game. Really resting on their shoulders. Eric, as time goes by now, going to be helping him catch up. Doing okay for himself. But as the other carries get 6 slotted, that'll allow him to get 6 slotted as well. If the game continues onward. So Radiant is 1 racks down, but far from out, as they've also gotten their own mid. And as the scores show, it's ended up tipping back toward Dire. But gold is closing in together. And the levels right now, Rubicon, Undying, and Pudge are the ones are far behind. The levels on Slark and Puck looking very good. The push is going to come out from Dire up top. They're ahead of the pack here, so if it comes to a base race, Dire will at least be picking least be hitting the tier 3 first. Luna probably going to have the better of the exchange as well. They do have to be careful. Now this is where smoke would be scary. If Radiant could do that, just go TP back home to defend. Luna gotta be careful, not everybody here. The split push is coming in mid. No, gets hooked. Here's Dismember. She gets caught out of position. She's gonna be bursted down almost immediately. Does not get to do a thing. Can't even pop Satanic buy back. She can TP back in with the boots of travel. In she comes. There it is. Gonna try and go on Gyrocopter. Wants that return kill, but now gonna be turned around. The Decay used out and Rocket Barrage, and she has to back off. Satanic has already been used. Now gonna use Eclipse. Diminishing returns now. No, gonna go down. 100 seconds on the sideline. Slark trying to man up, but up against the world. Not gonna have the damage. 4-for-0 in that fight. They were split up, forcing the fight at the tier 3 top when there were 2 mid. The hook Dismember making all the difference in the world on Luna. Buys back. Overzealous. Brought down again. With no support there to help out.
Double damage.
And I'm surprised we're not seeing the all-out push towards Throne right now. Buyback is only available at Keeper of the Light. 35 seconds left on Luna. Fortify is available, so they'll be able to buy just a little bit of time. Again, that meandering around. Perhaps it will be enough. They're not getting the secondary racks, so they're not getting mega creeps. If this throne push can be stopped, this game is not over. 13 seconds. If they can keep them off of the Ancient for 10 more seconds, Luna will be back up. And Roshan will still be back up. But no, they're going to be focusing down the Ancient. Luna back up, 0 seconds. Now down to half health, 1,000 HP. The Blink in from Puck. Dream Coil gonna try and continue to focus on the Ancient. Goes down to 125-34, and that's it. Finishes off the Ancient. Able to just barely make it. They got the gyro. One more last hit on the Ancient. Finishes it off. And they're able to turn it around. Gene Parmesan on the Undying, leading them to victory. The big hook out of Pudge, locking down the Luna in the fight down bottom. In fact, the last 2 big fights became clutch. And able to turn around a 20,000 experience deficit. Radiant comes back in style and forces down the Ancient for a clutch big win.